Today's video is brought to you by an argument. An argument I had with a certain individual who said that I wasn't doing my job right, which for those of you who don't know, I'm a video editor. You know, that's how I pay for the strip club and the home. And apparently I didn't do my job right because I ain't investing my money in no Chad-ass Macintoshes. Now, normally I wouldn't really make a video about it. If you use a Macintosh, go for it. If you use a PC, go for it. I don't care. It's a fucking plastic box at the end of the day. But what Muda hates is brand loyalty and trying to defend the fact that you paid a 50% tax on your computer because somebody took a bite out of a fucking apple and sold it to you. Now, brands like Supreme, you know, really high-end brands where you're paying $1,000 for a sweatshirt that's probably made for like $6 in a fucking sweatshop overseas, often baffles me, okay? Because every time I come across these breed of individuals, you know who you are, you know who they are, I always get fucking poor shamed. Oh, Muda, why does it say Twitter for Android? Because at the end of the day, motherfuckers, there's some cheap-ass Android phones, and there are some fucking pricey motherfuckers out there. And guess what? You know, it's not your concern what daddy gets. Now, at the end of the day, all right, I'm sick and tired of getting fucking poor shamed for this shit, okay? So I'm gonna stand up to all the Twitter for Android people. I'm gonna stand up for all the PC neckbeards out there. I'm gonna stand up for every console pleb that you can see out on the market. Because you know what? It's time to stand up to this breed of cancer. Now, before we begin, I didn't fucking buy a Mac, okay? I think it's very evident that I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't go to Apple and do it. But ooh, Muda, how you running that Macintosh? Well, there's a reality to it. See, I'm running it under a virtual machine using Linux, all right? What I'm basically doing is emulating a Mac, and while we get to it, this Mac is better than most of the shit that you can buy from Apple anyways. But that's really the step. See, the build that I'm using here, I like to call it Bisexual Billy. The reason I call it that is Billy the PC here usually is into that heteronormative fucking shit that you see nowadays. Billy here decides to run Linux, decides to run Windows, run Macintosh if Billy wants to run around on the streets naked, fucking screaming at cars. That's what Billy does. That's the Billy PC build. And you know what? There's a beauty to it because Billy can do it all at the same time. Now, Billy is what I like to call a workstation rig, right? Basically, I paid just under some of the highest end Macs that you can get. Well, the Mac, well, not the $8,000 Mac Pro, let's be fucking real, but it's a pretty pricey build that's workstation oriented. And you know, so far and so forth, it's performing a little better than an off-the-shelf Mac that I could get at Apple. See, one of the things you gotta learn here is if we can go on a fucking safari, boys and girls, all right? I mean, if we're on the Macintosh, might as well use their fucking lineup, right? Now, as you can see, all right, they're trying to sell me an iPhone 11. I'm okay with the iPhone 11. Hell, I bought a couple in my life. I even bought an iPad. It's the Mac category that I care a lot about. And when you go to the Mac category, whew, what is this? MacBook Pro, the best for the brightest. Ooh, let's buy it. Let's see how bright we are. Ooh, let's go into that. 16-inch or 13-inch? I knew, man. I'm gonna have to think about it. I mean, bigger the better, right? Let's go for it. 2.3 gigahertz, 8-core processor. Like, I'm not shitting on no AMD fellers out there, but let's be real here, even AMD guys know that that's not the card you want for a fucking 2.7K laptop, let's be sure. But Muda, it's got an Intel i9 2.3 gigahertz processor, it turbos up to 4.8, Radeon, I can't get over it, 16 gigs of RAM, and a terabyte storage, and you get a Retina display and Touch ID. Well, goddamn, buckaroos, you're really stepping in that fucking market category, aren't you? But you know what else? I want to go to that Pro side real quick, so let's fire that back up real quick. You can either get the rack or the Pro. The rack isn't available, so let's go see the Pro. For $6 fucking grand, all right, they give you a 3.5 gigahertz, 8-core Intel Xeon W processor. Can I just remind the audience real quick that processor isn't exactly the most impressive shit out there. See, at the end of the day, that processor that you can get, there are desktop processors out there that give you more bang for your buck. This is like a little old in my opinion. Don't let the name fool you or anything. Just benchmarking this aside, maybe specialized workflows would be better, but for the most part, an off-the-shelf processor you're getting, usually the highest end, is a little bit better than this shit. Don't let them fool you. Oh, but Muda, if you pay $7 grand extra, they give you the 28-core Intel Xeon. They make Ryzen Threadrippers that put this shit to shame, boys and girls. Remember that. For less price, and there are Ryzen builds I can get you that cost as much as the fucking upgrade, that are stellar. Oh, but you want 1.5 terabytes of memory? That might be the best price thing they have, 25 grand, believe it or not. But still, when you add everything up, not really. Two Radeon Pro Vegas. Basically, if you go this option, 10 grand, you're getting 4 GPUs because this is a dual GPU wafer. Still, for 10 grand, let's see, used car or fucking 4 GPUs. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to think about it. You know, NVIDIA is outclassing any of these GPUs anyway, so why the fuck am I going this way? I don't know. 8 terabytes of storage for $2,600. You can go fuck yourself. Oh, an Afterburner card for those ProRes codecs. Just use Avid's codecs, all right? Please, don't fool yourself. But you want the stainless steel frame with the wheels for $400? Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just love burning money. At least give the software for free to make it look like some fucking good deal. But you know what? For 6 grand, is that Mac worth it? Ooh, well, the answer is a surprising no. Now I've been spending some time at the fucking glory hole lately, you know, giving head for nickels and shit, and I managed to get me one of these little crappy Mac Minis that you kind of need a real Mac to build the Mac VM. You don't really, I mean, it's piracy at that point, but I had to get a real Mac to make a little bootable drive. But this pile of shit, that can go fuck itself. And I mean, that's really what it is. This Mac runs better. It's got 16 fucking cores to it, about 24 gigs of RAM, and a very decent AMD Radeon graphic card powering it. I mean, it's better than what you're getting off the shelf for literally 50% less of what I would pay for an actual Mac. Now, Mac users always like to tell me, "Oh, Moody, you ain't doing your job right. You gotta use a fucking Mac device to actually edit your videos." Well, let me guide you through. I've been using some of Premiere Pro, and you know what? Everyone tells me to use this Final Cut nonsense, and I'll just fire it up real quick for all the audience here. Why not? Let's go look around as much as we can. Here we go. Now, you know what? I'm not saying this is a terrible, editing setup. I get if you were, editing your vacation videos, maybe your brother cheaped out on his wedding and told you, you know what? You edit the fucking wedding video, and maybe you might pull a half-decent job out of here. But in the big boy world of video editing, no one uses this Final Cut Pro 10 garbage. They use shit like Creative Cloud, or they use Avid Media Composer, 2 NLEs that are available on Windows anyway. So no, you don't need a fucking Mac anymore. And Final Cut, let me give you a blanket review of it. If I wanted to smash my head against the wall, I would use Final Cut. If I wanted to have the most unintuitive way of editing, I would use Final Cut Pro. And if I just wanted to not do my job properly and go homeless, I would use Final Cut Pro. That's my glaring reviews that you're getting, okay? And you know what? I'm gonna tell it like it is. So now that we've got productivity out of the fucking way, what else? Can you browse the web? Well, yes, we just did that. Can you write Word documents? If you're spending over $1,000, $2,000 on a product like this, you best fucking bet you can write a fancy-ass Word document. Don't get me wrong. Are you still intelligent after that? Debatable. I still consider that to be troglodyte status. But hey, what am I? But a fucking poor ass editor editing on a shitty PC, right? All right. Dude, it's fucking stupid. All right, so gaming on a Mac is entirely possible, boys and girls. In fact, earlier I was playing some Fortnite. So yeah, you got some Fortnite, you got some Minecraft, you got some Roblox, everything a fucking growing boy needs. In fact, I even fired up Steam to play one of my favorite games, Splinter Cell Conviction, and would you look at that? 32-bit applications ain't supported. It's almost like backwards compatibility. That's just a feature. Mac is watching out for you. Who wants to use older programs? Am I right? Move on with the times, kiddos. Now, even more so than that, yes, I know Steam exists, but Apple themselves have a really amazing library of video games that one can actually get their hands on. If you go to the Apple Arcade, they have some fancy new games for you to get into. I mean, you can play amazing games like Shadow the Tomb Raider, which is great, by the way, amazing. But given what Mac sells you as hardware, I doubt you could even max this game out properly, without PC hardware kind of fucking powering it. Oh, hell yeah. Jelly Juice? Sign me up, dude. I always want to play a sweet, juicy Match 3 game. At least the download speeds are fucking decent. To think there's somebody who actually actively plays this game really hurts me deep inside on an actual level. I'm not going to kid with you on that. This is actually fucking depressing. All right, let's just wipe that shit out of the fucking inventory real quick. Of course I want to delete that garbage. Now, something that always cups my butt cheeks about Macintosh devices is I like to consider them the Fisher-Price of computing. You know, Macs are designed, I think Apple considers the basic audience for this to be fucking fetuses, because there's like 17 different windows a person has to go through to do something on a Mac that you could do in a command line on Linux, or like one window on Windows, ironically. But ladies and gentlemen, the thing that I cannot stand with this device is how much it treats me like a fucking child. Look, Apple, if I want to buy a product for $2,000, yes, I've done it, but if I want to change a basic setting, I shouldn't have to click the padlock, enter the password, change a bunch of settings around, close the padlock, close. You understand? Already we've went through like 17 steps that we didn't fucking need, but here we went through it, all right? And that's just what it comes down to. See, I like to consider the entire system for babies. Anytime you want to do power user activities, you're probably going to have to go through like 20 setup phases to actually do it on an Apple product compared to other products out there. Listen, Apple, I'm a big boy now. Trust me, I know you're watching out for me. I get it. But I think I know how to use a fucking computer these days. Don't worry about it. And you know, it's okay if they design that shit for grandmothers, but just give me an option when I start the computer. Ask me, do I know about computers? Or do I not know about computers? Okay, if I answer that I know, don't fucking stop me every step of the way. Now, everyone always tells me, oh, Muda, but Macs aren't slow. Yeah, this VM ain't slow, but you try picking up some off-the-shelf garbage from them, like the lowest-end Macs, ooh, you're gonna get some slow systems. The other thing that people tell me is Macs don't get viruses. You're wrong, okay? Macs do get viruses. In fact, I made a video all about it at one point. You see, ladies and gentlemen, just because you're 5% of the market doesn't mean you're impervious to viruses. I use Linux, which means I'm like 1% of the fucking computing race that uses that shit on a daily basis. But I could still get a nasty package or a virus. See, the easiest way to get a virus is to do dumb stuff. If you're downloading stupid crap like, oh, here's Minecraft for free, you're probably going to get a malware on your computer, and that could happen to anybody, okay? See, the best defense against a computer virus is to not be a fucking troglodyte. And you know what? If you are, whatever you're using, you're still going to get malware. So next time, if you tell me that, and you're downloading your Mac Cleaner virus, and it suddenly steals your files, don't be telling me that twice, all right? Because I'm just telling you as it is, homeboys. Just for argument's sake, I'm gonna like neo-fetch this shit real quick so everyone thinks that I'm not a fucking liar. This is in fact a Macintosh. I did run Final Cut for you. That is real. It is 100% real. Don't let this doubt you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, all things considered, I don't despise Macintosh devices. I heavily despise them, actually. That's one of those things. I think these are sort of the supreme of computing. You know, there's not really much gain to have from a Mac anymore. You know, I get people who are going to say, but I like the software. I really like it. That's cool. That's fine. But at least for the love of God, admit that you're buying a product for brand rights instead of the actual quality of the product at this point. Because honestly, at this point, Apple fleeces the shit out of the computer so hard that you're paying almost, I would say, 50%, even more in some cases, for the tax on their hardware just because it's branded Apple. Their operating system is okay. But honestly, everyone's already caught up and doing shit better than Apple anyways. At this point, this company used to kind of innovate. Now they sort of ride the coattails. And I get it, Macs aren't as popular as the iPhones and iPads of these days, but that still doesn't give them a right to price these things so far up. They're trying to cater to markets that have already dropped them far behind. Like I said, this video was bred from an argument, and it's an argument that I wanted to shut down. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a laugh. And you know what, if I offended Apple people out there, I get it. If you like Apple, hey, by all means, go for it. It's your right. But if you're a fucking vegan about this shit, telling me that it's God's grace to the world, oh, I'm going to shut that shit harder down than anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mudahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I have to sneeze, so I am out. Oh, fuck. I think I came. Oh, Jesus Christ.